all I can say is screw onions. Oh my goodness, my eyes. You should have seen me. I had snot dripping down my nose, like tears in my eyes. I am so, oh my gosh, so sensitive to onions when they're raw. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I'm going to show you what I'm making for my vegan Thanksgiving to take my family's house this year on the Slim on Starch and Starch Solution, whole food, plant-based diet, vegan. And this is what is going to be my green bean casserole. Instead of having those flaky processed onion things we find in the stores, I'm making my own with some gluten-free breadcrumbs. So I'll be back with you momentarily to show you some of that. I'm going to tell you what's on the menu today. I'm making a vegan chocolate brownie with peanut butter, all whole food plant-based for my birthday, which is on Saturday, and pumpkin pie bites. I'm also making, sorry, the onion really got to me, mashed potatoes, garlic, mushroom gravy, and I'm making acorn squash as my main, which will make sense what I'm doing and I'll explain, and maple mustard Brussels sprout, which is actually a Plantiful Kiki recipe. So I'm very, very excited to make that, and of course the green bean casserole. So, and if anything else comes to mind, I might make it, but that's what we're dealing with today, and I'm going to go through step by step to show you what it looks like, some of the ingredients in it, and I'll show you all the links where to find things if you want to make them yourselves. Okay, stay tuned. So what I'm doing right now is I am baking my onions for 25 minutes and at 425, and they have gluten-free breadcrumbs and water with, yeah, that's what I put on them. And some flaxseed, a couple tablespoons of flaxseed, and I poured it all over together, and they're in the oven cooking for 25 minutes. And while that's going, I put 2 big green bean steamable packs in the microwave, and I threw them in this big ol' 9x13 or probably bigger casserole dish. And I'm going to now make the mushroom gravy that goes on top of this, and then I'll put the onions on top of that when they're done. So the green beans are done being steamed. I put the mushroom gravy that I just made, I sauteed some mushrooms, and I put them with water, seasoning, and plant milk in a blender, and I blended up the mushrooms. And so now I am stirring this up, and I'm going to put it back in the oven just to warm it up a little bit to kind of cook in the the mushroom gravy into the beans and warm it up just a little bit. And then I'm going to put the onions that are done on top of it. So this is the topping that you normally put those French fried onions on top of. Well, I made my own onions. And here we have it, the green bean casserole, whole food, plant-based, vegan style. So I made these mashed potatoes, and it is 5 small yellow Yukon potatoes, and I put them in the Instapot, and all I did was hit clear, and I hit pressure cook, I plugged it in and put pressure cook in there, and I put 1 cup of water inside of the reservoir when there's a reservoir in there. Right now it's being in the wash, and then I set this to 12 minutes. I put a couple sweet potatoes in there as well, and I cooked those because I'm going to make something out of those in here in a minute. And then I added half a cup of plant milk to this, and I added garlic powder and a little bit of poultry seasoning, Miss Dash's salt, and pepper. And that's what I made with this, and whipped them up with my handy dandy mixer. So it was very, very easy to make. It's probably the fastest thing I made so far. And now I'm going to see what I'm going to make next. This is going to be my gravy for my mashed potatoes. It is 3 tablespoons of nutritional yeast with 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit of oat flour and vegetable broth, low sodium. And right now I am heating it up to medium-high for a few minutes to get it to thicken, and then I will be able to keep this for a week in the fridge. So what I did here was add 2 sweet potatoes, and I added some cinnamon and some 100% maple syrup, and I also came over here and added a splash of the stevia. And I also added a little bit of the sugar-free caramel syrup, just a very, very tad, like a capful, to this to make them candied yams. I know it sounds weird, but it really does work, and I just tried it, and it's awesome. So this is going to be my pumpkin pie. This is a filling, or sorry, the crust that is coconut flour and half oat flour, and I get this at Walmart. Really pretty good price for being gluten-free, because I'm also gluten-free. Super fun. This is half of a mashed sweet potato, half cup sweet potato and mashed, and then half cup of pumpkin puree, and make sure it's puree. I also put in 1 teaspoon of the pumpkin pie spice, which you can find at Dollar Tree. And I also put in 1/4 big ol' whopping heaving of the 100% pure maple syrup, 1/4 cup. So that's what's in this. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and attempt to make crust out of this. I think I'm going to have to make it a little bit more, that M word I don't like using, but I'm going to say it, moist, so that this can hold it just a little bit more like pie. So because right now we're dealing with the consistency with a little bit of water in there and a little bit of the maple syrup as well. And I think it just needs a little bit more something so it's not so crumbly. So we'll probably just add a little bit more water to that. So now I'm going to fill this mixture into my pie cups, which actually worked out quite well. I say you definitely need some more water in that. And I added a little bit of stevia and also a little bit of this pumpkin pie sugar-free Torani syrup to add a little bit more flavor to the crust, because it was just a little bland, so I added some flavor. So since it's my birthday coming up this weekend, I'm going to go ahead and make myself a vegan cake. It's going to be a chocolate peanut butter cake. And I'm really excited to see how this turns out. So far I put in 1.5 cups of oat flour blended, and going from there. Here's the frosting to the cake I'm making, and I actually made it into some cupcakes instead because it was easier for me to travel with them, going from family to family members' houses and to different events this weekend. I put in Hershey's cocoa, a little bit of a dab of that. I also used PB2 powdered peanut butter. I put a little bit of maple syrup in there. I put a little bit of red food coloring to give it a little bit more of a red look to it. It does taste like peanut butter, and I also added some powdered sugar, and I just kind of mixed it until I liked the taste of it, and I also added vanilla extract to it. And if you don't know what PB2 is, I'm going to show you. This stuff lasts forever, if I can find it right now, which, of course, I put things away and then I forget where I put them. Oh, it's out here. So here's PB2, and it basically is 90% less fat than regular peanut butter. So I also added a tablespoon of actual Jiffy creamy peanut butter because it just gave it better consistency. Since I'm not using oil in this mix, that's pretty much the consistency of icing. And it tastes like, it will basically taste like a big peanut butter cup when I'm done, because I made a chocolate base of a cupcake, which has 10 minutes left. It looked wonderful. Yes. Oh, and these are my mini pumpkin pies that I made. So they came out, look like they came out really well. And the only thing left I have to make is my acorn squash tomorrow with rice and some other things in it. But this is what I have going on tonight. And those are the pumpkin cupcake pies, and of course my green bean casserole, and my completely vegan, almost whole food plant-based peanut butter chocolate cupcakes instead of cake, my candied yams, and my garlic mashed potatoes, and amazing vegetable broth gravy with roasted mussel, oh wow, roasted maple mustard Brussels sprouts that are brewing in there right now, and I'll show you the end result of those after they're done cooking.